Well, welcome to season whatever this is. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining me. This is going to be part one of two tonight and tomorrow night. And from the 2006 part spin, I am dredging up a very interesting trip I took to what I call Reading country. I had a friend who was quite willing to drive me around. We went to a number of locations: Phoenixville, Reading Outer Station, and then the next day we drove up all the way to the Lofty Tunnel. A couple times I went up there trying to be able to walk through it. It's one of my goals is to walk through every Reading tunnel, and both times I've had people who have been unwilling to come with me, and I didn't really feel like venturing through alone. Also because I didn't have the right lighting for it. It's a little flooded, but in summer it's kind of nice and cool. But anyway, I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. Today. Hopefully, and let me know if the levels are bad. I've been trying to make the audio a little bit better. I don't have a super advanced mic or anything, but I haven't heard too many complaints. The trip started with me. I don't even know what's the date on this. It's going to be August 5th. So this is probably over some sort of weekend. I'm not sure exactly why I took transit out to meet my friend. He lived in the main line zone of PA. I guess I just didn't feel like driving or wanted an excuse to take transit. But this is going to start with some SEPTA main line, and then Phoenixville, Reading Outer Station. That should probably hit what we need for today. And then tomorrow we'll hit the Port Clinton, Lofty Tunnel, Tamaqua, and Bird Tower on the way back. So I'm just going to start going in here. We're back to the same old way it used to be, with me just editing things and explaining what stuff was like, 15 years ago, which is what these were. So this is an actual thing that I noticed. I'm not sure if I knew it at the time or someone tipped me off. At this point, the Harrisburg line was still being run with diesel power. You can see that the concrete ties are just starting to go in to replace all the jointed rail. And at this point, Amtrak had pulled a number of additional Metroline or cab cars out of storage. And here we have one that I think was... I was informed that this was some kind of test train. It's still diesel, but I think they were testing the cab cars. You can see that it's pretty... it looks pretty nice and new there. So this is 9638, just a former Metroliner. But I'm trying to think that, oh yeah, that's right. When they were doing the power change, they didn't have to worry about having a cab car. When they went to all electric, they didn't have to do a power change. They didn't do any switching ends or anything. So this was what they were prepping for. The full electric service was going to have cab cars, and the old diesel to electric service did not. So this is me catching that test train at St. David's, it's Haverford. Approaching Bryn Mawr, for some reason we had to stop at Bryn Mawr, which let one of the eastbound or westbound home signal show off one of its party tricks. Both Overbrook and Bryn Mawr are somewhat unique in that they have pocket tracks that allow locals to be hopscotched by express trains without having the express trains have to take up what were the middle freight tracks. So here we have the westbound signals of Bryn Mawr, and we're going to get stopped. And you can see there's the Keystone test train that passed us, and then they jumped ahead. But we have the signal into the pocket. Bryn Mawr only has pockets in the westbound direction. So here on the track number 4, we have a slow approach going into the station to a stop at the next the signal out of the pocket. So that's why both at Overbrook and Bryn Mawr you see these upper heads that do not have an approach, because the signal block is too short for approach, so you can only get a slow approach. Actually, I need to check to see how I spell Bryn Mawr in a lot of my things. Hopefully it won't take forever to pull open the folder. There we go. I think it's Bryn underscore, which I really shouldn't do, but it's the way I've done it. No, I have a bunch with a hyphen. Alright, I'm doing hyphen then. I'm trying to change to hyphen. Let me just pull that up again. Sorry. There we go. That's good to go. I really need to what do I do it for Bryn Mawr? I guess I'm using the modern signal numbers. Sorry about that. 1 second. No, I need to... Oh, it's not 4A, it's 4AW. Sorry about that. 4W. Oh, that's strange. Hold on. Huh. One second. I can fix this if it doesn't fix itself. There we go. Yeah, I don't know why it doesn't like doing that, but sorry about that. Thanks for the warning. And we're back. Yeah, you didn't miss much. I'm just looking for file names right here because I'm trying to... That's the 4AW. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to... Bryn Mawr is sort of complicated. I only have... My diagrams all have the old numbering. I'm just trying. Okay, so I think this is 34 West. Or, sorry, 34. Yeah, okay. So Amtrak, I said, it does use a predictable numbering system, but I just always have to remind myself what that is. Also note, Bryn Mawr, this is the section break for Bryn Mawr substation. The substation was an old 44 kV type, and it was... it is still it's in place as a switch, as a section switch, but it is not actually. There's no transmission capacity on the PR main line, the 1915 part of the main line. There's a substation at each end, but the whole 20-mile length does not have a midpoint substation. But I've been told that there's enough feeder, that there's enough copper in the 4 tracks that I guess that they can sort of cross feed. To get the appropriate amount of amps, if that actually works that way. Okay, good for this. All right, here we go. Also, make sure that I'm saving these the right amount. Yeah, we're good. Bryn Mawr Tower, again, this was open until the 90s, closed in 94 due to a fire, remote controlled to Paoli. I think I've mentioned this before, but I've asked people to, if my question had always been, if Bryn Mawr hadn't caught fire, would they have ever, upgraded the signaling? I've generally been heard that the answer is no. Maybe they got an insurance payout, or maybe because it was an emergency. But that was only a 2-shift tower, so you'd have all sorts of troubles today with not having someone on duty. Oh, you got a nice stop and proceed on the 4AW there. Yeah, this is why I'm changing all these things around. There we go. Oops. I did not crop this properly. So all these have been taken through the front cab zone of a Silverliner 4. Yeah, that looks good. I got off at Wayne. That's where I was going to get picked up by my friend. This is Silverliner 4 number 349, which is at this point you can still tell that they're easily tell if they're PRR or Reading because the cow catchers had not yet been removed from the Reading cars. Maybe I don't know if I should crop this or not. Probably should a little bit off the top. Not sure I need that lumber there. So one interesting thing here. The 44 kV feeders, there are 2 sets of 4 wires on each side of the tracks for the original 44 kV system. I'm assuming that they were probably a split phase 22 kV type of thing, which you still sort of see around today. One of them was removed. The other one was used as turned into a Pico local feeder. Even though there's 4 wires, it was still modded into a 3-phase system, with one of them, I think, used for return current or lightning arresting or both. So every so often you'll see the old 44 kVs moving in to support this 3-phase that would go off to a local substation. Just picture the Wayne station, so a little backlit there. I forget if I was out there recently. I think Wayne has high-level platforms now. Okay, here we go. So the first stop on the tour was Phoenixville, where we dropped off at the Phoenixville, the old PRR bridge in Phoenixville. Pennsylvania Railroad, as out of spite, decided, due to reasons I need to look up. Gosh, it's in one of my books, and I just never do it. They decided to compete with the Reading directly, building a parallel line up the other side of the Schuylkill River Valley, done in the around early 1900s, so a lot of the stuff was using the new technology of reinforced concrete. Most of it's been turned into the Schuylkill River Trail. But this segment here, you can see it, so you can't really see much from this, but I'll do a Google map. So Google Maps, there's the Schuylkill River, there's your Phoenixville. Phoenixville used to actually have a big Phoenixville Bridge Company, and there's a Phoenixville Iron and Steel, big steel works there. There's your King of Prussia Mall right there, Valley Forge Park right here in the middle. Move into the Wikimapia, this is really good for railroads because they stand out well. This is the old Perkiomen branch, and it's spliced into the old PRR branch as a Phoenixville industrial track. It comes here, crosses. This is the original PRR bridge, the viaduct. PRI got its second, didn't get the first choice of right-of-ways, so it had to come in, cross the river at a right angle to the Reading line, and then in town had to go around the big Black Rock Mountain, and then finally up the other side. That's been turned into a trail, whereas it actually hooked into an existing PR line that went down here to Dale Interlocking, the whole, there's a bunch of stuff in the Chester Valley area. That's still intact. There's a lot of rails that are actually still in place to serve some quarries. Even though the rails are cut by road crossings, they're still there. Do a quick terrain look. You can see why it did what it did. With the Reading cutting through there, the PR went up the whatever creeks in Phoenixville, and then tried to sneak its way through the back half of the finger. I think you can get through. I'm pretty sure you can get through that tunnel, or maybe you can't. Let's see. Nah, it looks like they cut it so you can't get through. Yeah, that doesn't look super safe, but you can walk through it if you wanted. So I'm just going to label these as Phoenixville Viaduct. Oops. And this is looking, we parked in sort of, I forget how we got up onto it. I think we parked on the far side. So, let's see if I can identify what I'm looking at. That's either there. There's the canal. Yeah, we parked on this side, and I'm pretty sure that this is over the Reading looking. This is technically the north end looking north, even though it's pointing west. And this is the bridge over the current NS Harrisburg line, aka Reading Main Line. Here is CP Phoenix. I actually got some pictures of CP Phoenix all close up, at least this end of it, back in 2018. Phoenix was interesting that it was the single track portion. It was built to accommodate the single track through the Black Rock Tunnel. The interlocking extended through the entire length of the Black Rock Tunnel. NS came in and they basically put an interlocking on either side. So the Phoenix that is there now is no longer. So I think that my old Wikimapia thing is still there. So there's the old CP Phoenix. But today they cut it back, and there's a new CP Phoenix right there. It's not marked yet. Right by the station. I got to go roll by there. And then there's a new interlocking. They really extended the amount of single track all the way up around there is where the new interlocking is. There it is, CP Crombie. I thought it was a reduction in capacity, but there's not a lot of trains that actually use this. This is a surprisingly small number of trains. That's why it's probably likely that you'll eventually see some SEPTA service on it. Here we are in the middle of the bridge looking back towards where it curves. And like I said, you would think this would have been turned to a bike trail already, but it hasn't. Here's the Schuylkill Canal Looking north. Let me pull up. Hopefully I spelled that right somewhere. I just have to look how you spell it. I think I spelled it wrong. Yeah, that's wrong. Yep. Yeah, I'm fixing all kinds of mistakes. Is this north or south? South. And this will be north. My friend was actually from this area, so this is a place that he would routinely go. Fun fact, Phoenixville is home of where they shot The Blob, and they still have the theater there for that. So when every year, most years, they have a festival. So if you're ever in the area, that's its big claim to fame. And here we are just looking back across the bridge from the east side. Not exactly the east side, but east side enough where it straightens out at least. There we go. 12 done. There's a question. Which